Okie dokie. Summon Forest, let's do it. I'm slightly concerned about this this crab here, and in fact, I probably should have started with an Orb of Destruction down that direction. Okay. Yep, that does the trick. It's hard to tell which angry tree is angry at who. Exactly. That's why I was very concerned when the druid was around. At least can relatively safely make the assumption that they are my friends if it's in a controlled circumstance. But as soon as you get a Spriggan druid into the picture, into the mix, then all bets are off, and who the heck knows what's going on anymore. Let's reach out and grab you. Oh, what? Let's try that again. Reach out and grab you. Fantastic. And that's the G. And ooh, bog body, eh? Let's double check. We're at least not cold vulnerable. We're also not resistant to cold though. So that 3d18 is gonna hit for the full digits there. And again, seeing as how our luck has progressed this evening, or rather just seeing how our luck has progressed this evening, it's gonna roll max. Something tells me. Sneaking suspicion. So secondary option. Send off some orbs of the destruction variety and see how that treats me. Fantastic. In fact, yeah, in any kind of more closed off scenario, summoning forest is easily the right call, and then anywhere else, I need to be using Orb Destruction a bit more. Again, if I could just remember that I had this available to me. Oh, bye, Susan. Oh, I don't know about you, my friend, and because they popped into view and then moved out, it does mean they're awake, unfortunately, so that sucks. I mean, we just launch off enough Orbs of Destruction, then not a care in the world. And between that and Vile Clutch, we could potentially keep our draconic friend at arm's length. Again, it's always bad how tempted I am to try and punch above my weight class, specifically when it comes to uniques. I probably should just leave. The one factor that gives me some hesitance there is that if we run into dangers at the bottom of this stairwell, and then we have to retreat while sitting at almost no health, there's always the chance that Susan will be waiting to say hello, friendly face, at least for moments before they murder us indiscriminately. Do have Noxious Bog. Yeah, that's one that I don't have as much experience with. Again, I find it to be a one-trick kind of cheap shot for being Spider, in a good way, I should clarify. Cheap shot, I think, comes loaded with a lot of negative connotation, but it's just wonderful in Spider. Clears everything. And everywhere else, I'm always a bit hesitant to use it just due to my unfamiliarity. But I guess as a flying creature, we do run the benefit. Immediately summon Forest as I see that we have a Spriggan who's potentially going to do the same. I'm hoping that there's like a priority system in place there, where as long as we're the first one to enrage the trees, then there's nothing to worry about. Definitely seems to be the case so far. Yeah, as a flying creature, creating water endos with Noxious Bog is good. The thing you don't like is that you can't use it to cover your escape, as it literally covers your escape. Yeah, definitely do not use it right after coming down or up a stairwell. I don't believe... I think we were very fortunate to not actually learn that the hard way, but can definitely see that being a relatively common occurrence, as people are just getting used to it. Oh, it's okay. The melting archway is nearby, hey? I have one potion of resistance. I don't have any other sources of resist cold, besides if we changed our armor, which we should actually probably start looking at this stage. Something I'll try to remember for the start of next week, because I think we can at least burn through the rest of this without too much concern. This we kept around because of that cold resistance. only losing 2 AC. It's not terrible, but hoping for something better before we have to make that decision. Oh, never mind. Ring of protection from cold. I'm standing right on top of one. Oh my. Well, that changes things. I think I do want to do this ice cave. Why does this look different? It's far more dangerous than the icy caverns found in the shallower reaches of the dungeon. That would do it. That's nice of them to actually give that distinction now, and we can actually see whether or not we should be scared out of our wits upon the very prospect of going in. And I kind of am. Don't get me wrong. We're decently strong. I have 1 resistance if necessary. IMB can help with taking care of most of the simulacrums. Actually, oh, Starburst. I should be fine against simulacrums. Let's swap out our willpower. Step onto this. Then I guess just drop a bunch of our periphery items that we may or may not need. Alright, we also have the Staff of Cold. So we have a couple different backup sources. Oh, never mind, because the staff conflicts with the sword. What am I doing with my life, folks? There we go. We've cleaned up some space. Let's see what happens. Noxious Bog with Ignite Poison is a funny combo if you ever need a good room clear. Creates flames and steam clouds. Oh, that is nice. Because I'm definitely old school there. I'm very much an OTR. Toxic Radiance, Ignite Poison kind of guy. But I do like the sound of that for sure. Hello? Rhyme Drake? There you are. Fantastic. Okay, so this is the nice simple warm-up before the other shoe comes down, correct? Oh, especially when I make this much noise. I always kind of forget about that. But yeah, okay, feel more experience. I was pretty sure it was the statue going down, and that is indeed the case. So, let's continue to just slowly but surely creep our way in here. Hello, my icy friends. Come one, come all. Please and thank you. Lovely to see you. So glad you could make it to my my kill corridor here. One-time showing of the kill corridor in your very own ice cave. We're a show on the road, baby. But okie dokie. Going all right thus far. Again, nothing too sketchy's come out, so I'm still concerned. I'm trying to think of what the end of this cavern can hold, because I always blank a little bit on these higher level ones. I feel like is it just an ice wraith? Is that what they're called? Frosty Wraith Boys, whatever their name is. I feel like that may be the case. In which case, we're not completely out of our depth. Okay, we can skip to the end. Okay, a Frost Heart. Fair enough, that is a pain in the rear. Still nothing too bad just because we have this open space without flight. And if we'd kind of run into them in a nasty fashion, we might be singing a different tune. Ah, Shard Shrike. That is much worse than anything we were tossing about as potential options. I also was confused earlier looking for the speed. It seems like they only list the speed if enemies are faster than you. So I'm not sure what was going on with our Norse encounter on the previous run, because they seemed sure as hell to be moving a hell of a lot faster. Yeah, 330 Icicle is no joke, for sure. And even, like, they get up to us and they start wailing away with this 63 additional cold damage on top of their claws. They're super fast, 105 health, like, just absurd. And not vulnerable to fire, of course. Because that'd be too easy, right? So we could potentially use Vile Clutch, I guess Orb of Destruction, if I can just make some noise. Might be able to make it work out here. Oh, Draconian, did not expect to see you. in these hereby parts. Okay. Shard Strike? Maybe I just yell here? No? Nothing? What if I put an explosion here? Okay, that's not a Shard Strike. Just a raid collection of ugly things here. Still completely valid as enemies. I respect you and your time here. But Shard Strike, if you could please show your face. I largely just want this nice open area so I can throw out absurd numbers of Orbs of Destruction. That's a great question, Zurus. Some Force does work. Of course, yeah, the thing that we were testing out earlier that we have to keep in mind is that we cannot cast it if I think it's adjacent to 3 walls. Based on our limited testing, that's kind of what we've decided on. And so, definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, come on. I'm making so much noise over here, man. No? Hear a screech? Yes. Come investigate? No? Hello, sir? Welp. Jesus, you're so fast. Yes. See, that was my concern. I guess 300% speed kind of writes itself, but there we go. Okay. Hopefully it was just the one Shard Strike. If there's another one, then honestly, they deserve it. Cut me down in my prime here. Ooh, an ice staff that has fire and cold resistance built in. I mean, I don't know. I act excited, and I was excited, I should clarify for the moment, but that's probably actually not that good now that I think about it. Just because fire resistance means nothing to us. Unless it's not double cold resist, right? It's just listing that. Because whenever it's an artifact, it has to be more explicit about everything. Unfortunately, I do believe that to be the case. I mean, it's easy to test, but I think I'm kind of making up potential issue points at this point here. So let's instead just try to get our rune, shall we? Been here for a hot minute. We're definitely feeling primed. We're feeling good, feeling ready. Of course, this is when good old Lerny is gonna show their face, and we're gonna be slightly concerned. We don't have a Phantom Mirror, so we don't have the one-stop shop easy solution to Lerny. It's not to say selection of Orbs of Destruction directly to the face aren't going to achieve the same completely valid results, so again, something to be said for that. Yeah, okay, I'm very much happy to have swapped over to using Orb Destruction a little more frequently. Still obviously have some cases like that where things don't work out quite to our desired degree, but not the end of the world in the slightest, as we just keep on keeping on. Beautiful. 7-headed Hydra, still nothing we can't handle. Fortunately, yeah, this is an open enough space that's actually not the end of the world, especially since I can phone a friend. Let's get some trees in here to show them the business end of a branch. You know what I mean? And that should, I mean, at some point, gotta be largely cleared out here. Should not send multiple orbs at the same dragon. Oh, speak of the devil. Hello there, my friend. I would like to please read a teleport first and foremost, if you would be so kind. Then we can send some orbs at you, can see if we can juggle you a little bit. Actually, it looks like we probably can juggle our 27-headed friend. Sir? Sir? You still around? Ah, there you are. Lovely to see you. There we go. Blow you up with a couple orbs of destruction. So not actually nearly as much of an issue as I was making it out to be. whenever it's been a while since I dealt with Lerny, then I definitely like to err on the side of caution. Assume that it's going to go horribly wrong and just hope for the best. And it definitely worked out here. Fantastic. Looks like it should be double cold resist since it has ice and RC. Yeah, I think staves, just with the artifact staves, might be a bit different, but let's check it out. Oh no, okay, I thought for a second, I forgot that we were wearing this protection from Cold Ring, so it looks to just be the one, which is still great. Or at least could be great, but unfortunately getting a little bit of additional intelligence along with that cold resistance means it will probably stick to the falchion for the time being. But there we have it, folks. 2 runes under our belt, feeling pretty solid about things. And I think this is where we're gonna be calling it for the evening. And then hopefully when we continue next week, it goes a little bit better than it did for our demon spawn friend this morning. But we've had a couple of relatively successful Makhleb Djinnis throughout the course of this series. I know that Djinni for a long time was my like go-to backup if I wasn't sure what kind of background or species I wanted to play. So we'll probably set up for the future, but what I want to do there... Oh, right, by Susan. We'll definitely buy Susan. I mean, our fight against the Liurnan Hydra gives me some amount of confidence, whether that's justified or not, that we could just Orb Destruction them from beyond, but that's fine. Only thing you forget is that Lerny is still a Hydra and fast in water. Ooh, that's a scary thing to realize in the final moments as it makes the approach. So I can definitely sympathize with you there. But let's perform a test before we wrap up, shall we? Burn it down. Trees move their gnarly branches around. So nay? I'm guessing that's a nay. Could you please go this way, friend? I just need to experiment some more here. Yeah, I think we were just burning natty trees before. And unfortunately, all the trees that we summon, I mean, makes sense. Summon Forest is not as strong as Shatter when it comes to opening up the level. That's totally fair, but worth trying out. Always like to look for those loopholes just in case it does exist. And yeah, I guess we will potentially head over to our vault's entrance, seeing as how that's where we will pick up next time. Oh, wait a second. I almost forgot. Let's head back to Swamp 4, my friends. I am a fool. And we left a bunch of goodies over here, so let's just make sure we pick up, yeah, that kite shield is critical, and if I wasn't carrying it around in my inventory, there's definitely a chance I forget that it ever existed when we return to this a week from now, so let's be happy to get that out of the way, and then we don't run into Susan again, so that's fantastic. And okie dokie, I guess that's where we leave it. Again, very straightforward so far. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem on a surface level like we're making the best use of Makhleb. Back in the day, I liked Makhleb a lot on melee characters because Minor and Major Destruction gave you a little bit of pseudo magic to kind of work your way with. But even though we haven't used any of our active abilities, of course, just the passive health up on kill is huge for Djinni, and that's what's allowing us to just do stupid amounts of IMB spam like that. So by and large, still can thank Makhleb for our progress so far, and hopefully for continued blessing in the future. You only ever take Makhleb for HP on kill. Were you playing back in oh, I don't even remember the version that it changed. It was a decent while ago now. I want to say like 0.26, 0.27. Prior to that, Makhleb's HP on kill was stupidly strong. Like, there was an argument to be made for, like, Mega Zigguin characters to take Makhleb, just because you could go to full health at any time, which, you know, still Gozag is probably the supreme leader of Mega Zigguin, just for the status effects on the gold, but yeah, definitely was super strong back then, and still is pretty solid, but I find myself generally not really playing with them other than on Djinni characters, and that's because of the synergy. I feel like there's a lot of thematic reason to to go that route. Because yeah, spamming spells endlessly, just so much fun every single time. But as we wrap up here, of course, huge amount of appreciation for all you folks for joining us on the journey. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Hope not too disappointed or sad about the passing of good old Eclos earlier this evening. But thank you for joining us. You know, if you're chatting alongside, if you're lurking in the background, or hey, if you're watching this down the road through the Twitch VODs or YouTube, then thanks to each and every one of you. And yeah, in our usual fashion, let's do a quick check. We can see who is live. Playing for a while now, but you forget what version started on. Food was still a thing. Oh, okay, so yeah, you were definitely around for the heyday of Makhleb. Man, yeah, food was still a thing. I haven't played with food in such a long time. That's something I don't miss very much. In general, I know a lot of people don't enjoy a lot of the updates, or it doesn't jive with their kind of approach to the game. I'm fortunate in that regard. I mean, I'm pretty easygoing. It's hard to get me upset about something or hard to disagree, especially when I usually just assume that devs know a heck of a lot more about the game than I do. But, you know, that's because I very much, even with all my experience in this game and the fact that I stream it online, I'm still pretty much an idiot when it comes to a lot of the nitty-gritty of how things work, and that's why chat's always so lovely to do all my homework for me and research into things. But I generally enjoy all the changes, and that's one that definitely meshed well with me, not having to worry about food. But again, that's speaking as a inventory hoarder person, or rather a person with a severe issue when it comes to hoarding objects. That's nothing but a positive change when I could free up suddenly infinite number of spots. Like there to be some versions of the game that allow you to change the options going forward instead of just changing things permanently. Oh, that's an interesting approach. Get some of the new stuff without the bad, because I know oftentimes what I think of when people complain about versions is that you can play old versions and they are always there, which is sweet. Like someday I actually want to go back to some of the really early versions that I haven't touched in like 14-15 years or something like that. But it is true that if you like some of the big parts of the changes without the others, that would be interesting. I mean, one thing that is nice for that are the forks. If you can find a fork that the dev very much aligns with your perspective on the game, then I think you're in business to just be pretty happy with how that progresses. You get all the changes you like without the ones you don't, potentially. Or, I guess, you can always learn how to code yourself. I'm curious, DCSS, it's just C#, isn't it? Huh. Someday I should actually dive into it a little bit deeper. Curious if I could make a fork. At least with basic things, just to fool around and have some fun. That could be a good time. But before I ramble on incessantly for the rest of the evening here, let's do a quick check to see who is live, at least if my laptop is cooperating here today. Could code yourself, sure, but you're a lazy consumer. That is completely fair. I'm in the same boat. I always like to think if I could code myself, but chances are I will never get off my butt and actually do anything about it. It's C++ mainly. Okay, yeah, I haven't touched C++ in a long time. I mean, can pick it up relatively quickly, I feel. That was one of the first coding languages I ever touched back in the junior high days. But maybe that'll be a fun hobby one day, potentially as like a special celebration stream once we're out of the woods in terms of all these various challenge runs that we're going for. You could always try to do some like live coding and just fool around and see what happens. No promises, because that sounds like a hell of a lot of work, and because I code in my day job, I mean, I still enjoy coding as a hobby, I guess. That depreciates what I was about to say, which is just that coding in my off hours too seems like a recipe for disaster, but I do really enjoy coding, so generally that works out. Anyway, here I go again, doing the thing I said I wouldn't, continuing my rambling, but instead just actually take the peek, and yeah, it does look like on my list here Brinth is live, so we'll probably send a raid off that way. Definitely recommend sticking around, regardless of what Brinth is playing. Always a fantastic time. Such a fun person to hang out with online here, and always a lively chat with good folks as well. So stick around, say hello, and hopefully either you continue with someone that you do enjoy watching, or it's a new face and you can make a new connection here on the platform. Regardless, let's get that going. Get that rolling. And yeah, I guess regardless of my inane ramblings until the end of time itself, the heat death of the universe might not even stop me from speaking the gab, or not being able to shut up, I guess is probably how others would put it. But regardless of all of that, of course, I do hope that you're having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, as I try to get something set up on my other monitor. Just, of course, remember, folks, we never, even for a moment, even with some very unfortunate Holy Wrath weapons, never didn't have it. I'll see you next week. See ya.